This is episode number 40 of the Leg It podcast with myself, Tom Wickstead.
It's me, Andy Grant, and this week we have Rob Ferns.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, mate. Yeah, really appreciate it.
So Rob's a guest. I've wanted to kind of, we spoke, haven't we, about potentially coming on and speaking about some of the things that you've done. But I thought now would be a good time to get you on because I know you through Charlie's Chance and everything you've been through.
Yeah.
And then you've got your Christmas ball coming up.
Yeah, we have. 30th of November. It's something that we've done now for the last 3 years. We've been a charity for 2, but we decided to throw this on every year, let everyone know what we've done the previous year, what we've raised, who we've helped, just sort of drum up interest and try and gain more advocates of the charity. To again try and give us that another platform to help people and get more supporters. So that's coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks today.
Yeah, so anyone, you'll find out listening to it now what Charlie's Chance is all about. So if anyone does want to take an interest in it, how's best to contact you if they're listening to this now?
Yeah, you can contact us via all our social media platforms. That's at Charlie's Chance, or we've got an email address which is at charlieschancefundraising@gmail.com. You can get in touch with us that way.
So I think, mate, once people hear your story and that, like, it was, I'm hoping, I'm guessing it'll have the same effect that it probably has on most people. Because Tom asked me before, didn't you, how we know each other? And I think I first came across, not even so much you, but Charlie and the whole fundraising was when it was in the Echo, when it was initially the big kind of the fundraising. So to start then, before that, do you want to kind of give us a bit of backstory of the kind of leads up to that really and what happened?
Yeah. So, my son Charlie was diagnosed with leukemia in 6th of March 2009. Absolute devastated when we found out. We'd got sort of pushed away for a couple of weeks by various medical professionals saying, don't worry about it, send him home, he's fine, he's a baby, they have big bellies and all the rest of it.
So did you notice, as a parent, you noticed something or?
Yeah, so both myself and my wife, we'd noticed a change. I mean, we'd had our other little boy Harrison, he was 5 months old at the time, and obviously we were concentrating more on him because he was the baby. He needed that little bit more of attention than Charlie did. But you notice changes in your own child, what some others don't.
Yeah.
And what we had noticed is belly, and like most children, when they're of a certain age, they're like quite skinny on the top, and you've got like a little bit of a pot belly because they don't really do much. You just sit there and eat, don't they? You know what I mean? It's
and how old was Charlie at this point?
So he's at the time he was 3.
Yeah.
So we'd noticed certain things. So again, you're not really over protective or you're not over cautious. You just sort of keep an eye on it, see what's going on. But then it got to a point where it was like we'd noticed something in him that it hurt us to see, really. And I remember the day, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I took him to, we went to take him for a walk. We had Harrison in the pram and there's myself and my wife, and we went to take him for a walk, and I was saying, Charlie, come on, like let's walk, and he was just trundling, and I was thinking to myself, come on, he's just being lazy now, do you know what I mean? And he fell on the floor and he was like, I can't walk, and my legs are sore, and I'd said to him, come on, what are you doing? Like, get up and let's go. Stop being lazy. And
but that's what that's what most people. I'd be doing that.
Yeah, I know you do, but I knew that it's not him. It's not him that, because he was always an active little kid. So I walked him home with a cob on, thinking, he's just wasted a lovely walk there with the family. And honestly, even today, you still sort of think like, you divvy, why were you thinking that? Why was you thinking he was desperately trying but deliberately trying to ruin a walk and all the rest of it? And the fact of the matter is, his muscles were wasting away as a result of this disease that was killing him from the inside out. So we knew from then something, we need to take him to doctors. So we took him to doctors, and they'd said there's nothing wrong with his belly, he's constipated. And I was like, but he's not though, he's been in the toilet 3 times today, I know my own kid. And it was 5:15 on a Friday afternoon. Obviously the medical professional wants to go home because it was nearly close of business. So my wife takes him home, I go to work, and then she phoned me at 7:30. She said, listen, I need to take Charlie, he doesn't look well at all. So we goes to Alderey. We were there for 3 or 4 hours, something like that. We'd seen a doctor. He'd noticed certain marks on Charlie, and he was saying, where'd the bruises come from? I said, well, he's a 3-year-old kid, he goes to nursery, bangs himself. And the first thing he said was, do you strike him? Do you hit him? I was thinking to myself, hold on a minute, I'm bringing my kid to you for you to let me know what's wrong with him. And the first thing you're asking me was, do you strike him? And I said to my wife, is he taking the fucking piss here? What's going on? Obviously all sorts of going through my head at that time. Am I going to get a tap on the shoulder here for social worker saying, listen, we're taking your kid away, you've hit him, or something. And he come back again and he said, how long's that bruise been there? And I said, mate, I genuinely couldn't tell you. He comes home every day with a different bruise. I genuinely don't know. And he goes, so what do you hit him? I said, I don't hit him. No, of course I don't. He's 3 years old. And he goes, well, if you were to hit him, would you? What severity would you hit him with? I said, what are you on about? What are you trying? You goading me yet? I don't know what you want me to say. I said, yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll hit you now, and then you tell me out of 10 how hard that was. I said, it'll be nothing compared to what I'd ever hit him. I just lost it. I thought, I genuinely don't know what you want me to say here. So this other nurse comes back, and obviously she's seeing how upset we were, and she said, listen, I'm sorry about that. He's obviously got a protocol to follow. I said, yeah, I understand that, but that was borderline accusations there. So she said, I just need to take a little bit of blood to be back with you. And literally within 20 minutes, she said, the doctors need you upstairs on Ward 3B it was at the time. So I was like, okay, yeah. And honest to God, before this, I was so naive, I genuinely didn't know what leukemia was. And that's good, the God's honest truth. I mean, this was 11 years ago now, so it would have been 25, 26. Didn't have a clue.
To be fair, mate, I'm exactly the same. All I know, and ignore my ignorance here, but all I hear is just leukemia. I've never looked into exactly what it is. Yeah.
So leukemia, now I understand it probably more than what most of these junior doctors do. It's a blood disorder. It's a blood cancer.
Right.
Well, that's what my mum passed away of, it's more common in children, isn't it?
It is more common in children, yeah. Which it frightens the life out of me. It really does. But obviously, at the time, didn't know. Genuinely didn't know what it was about. So we go up to this ward. Both me and my wife were sat there with Charlie, and it was like we were in some sort of little dingy Thai prison room. It was awful dark grey room, and this doctor had came in, Dr. Caswell, remember him? Still there now. Well, you might think he might have retired now, but lovely fella came in and just said, listen, we've checked the blood, and he's got a leukemia called ALL, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia. So I just said, well, what does that mean? Do you know what I mean? He said, well, he's going to be staying in for a bit. We need to do this, that and the other. So I was like, okay. Still hadn't twigged that.
But I guess it's not like that. You see on adverts and they go, it's cancer, and everyone's face drops. I'm guessing if you don't know what leukemia is, it's not that big defining moment for you, is it?
Exactly. So and that was the thing. That was like, you know, you've hit the nail on the head there. I could say to you, you know, you've got AML, which is another acute myeloid leukemia. Now you could go, oh yeah, what's that? The minute I say to you that's cancer,
It changes
like,
everything.
whoa, it absolutely changes your whole mindset of
totally, yeah.
It does, doesn't it? You know, so I just went, oh, okay, yeah, you know, we'll do that. And my mum phoned me. She kept phoning me, actually, pestering me. And I spoke to her and said, yeah, they've just said he's got ALL. And she went, what's that? And said, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Now, the scream I heard on that phone,
really,
I was like, it was like one of them weird moments, you know, like everything was going dead quick past me, and I was just sort of in slow-mo. I was thinking, like, what have I just told her that I don't know? Do you know what I mean? Like, I obviously don't know about it. And she said, I'm so sorry. And I was thinking, sorry for what? What are you sorry for? Like, let me know what you're sorry for. And I'd gone back into Sophie, and between me speaking to my mum and going back into the room with Sophie, she was just in absolute bits. So she'd obviously, Googled it, or they'd told her what it was. And that was it. I was just like, what am I doing here now? Like, am I going to lose him? Well, I suppose it's the first thing you think when you hear that. You know, cancer, that's it. But, you know, he's going to die. And we felt like that for months and months. You know, he was having ups and downs. And
I just on that though, mate, on the shock that your mum gave, I remember, right, such a similar story in the sense of both what you've just said. I remember when my mum was diagnosed, and my mum and dad were in this, obviously it must have been a similar scenario than you, and again they were the same. They were like, okay, and then it's when my dad went home, looked on the internet, and that's when his doubts started. And I remember, right, you had like these school diaries, and if you were ever off one day, you'd have to write, your mum or dad would write in it what you were off for or something. And my dad said, this is when my mum was in hospital, he said, listen, mate, because she got diagnosed in May, and then I went into school, like, so it was just the end of the year still. And he said, listen, mate, if you ever get upset about your mum, he said, I'm going to write you a note so that you can go to class, just to show the teacher your note, and you can go to class. So I said, okay, yeah, fine, you know, I'm giving me diary. And he said, no, I'm not writing it in your diary, I want to write it on a piece of paper. And I said, that's what the diary's for, though. And he said, no, I don't want to have this, I don't want you to have the note in your diary all the time, just give it to the teacher, and then you won't have it then. So I thought that was weird. And then I gave the note to me teacher, Mr. Riley, my yearhead, and he's reading it, and he done the exact same thing your mum done. He went and put his hand on his mouth. Yeah. And I'm thinking, what the fuck does this note say? Like, what is this leukemia thing that, like, everyone's so... I'm thinking, like, and it's the same thing, mate. Like, if you don't really know the severity at first, it's only when someone reacts to it, and probably the way you should.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's when it hits home.
Yeah, it does. You know, again, you sort of, it's like everything. You're not really sure what it is until it happens to you. And to be honest, not that you turn a blind eye, but it doesn't really... You shouldn't really have to think about things like that.
It's like me fucking, you know, dementia's an awful disease, but unless someone in your family's got dementia or Alzheimer's, you're not going to be like a massive advocate of let's raise money for that. You're not going to do, are you?
Of course, mate. Yeah, of course. And this is sort of the direction in which our foundation's going. So, like, we understand that we can't have hundreds of thousands of people supporting us. But what we are trying to do is we're trying to get not just the aware. I've said this from day one, even from the minute we were raising money for Charlie. The more people that talk about it, the more awareness it brings, not just one to the disease, but to the charity and everybody else involved in that. Because, you know, we've had people donate hundreds of pounds to us, but we've never ever seen them again. They've maybe never spoke about they've donated this money to Charlie, or they've donated this money to Charlie's Chance. That's a wasted £100 to me. I would prefer for you to go and spread the word about this disease. You know, like you said, more common in kids. It's actually getting now to a statistic where it's nearly 1 in 3 children are getting this now. It's
really
that bad. It's really that bad, mate.
1 in 3?
Yeah, honestly. Honest to God. We went to...
Fucking hell, I didn't know it was that bad.
Mate,
that.
it's one... not just leukemia, that's cancer in general. So it's getting to that figure now. And I remember speaking to a family not so long ago, actually, and they went to a convention in Birmingham in the NEC, and they were talking this. I mean, I don't know whether he was like a little bit of a foodie or whatever, but he was basically saying what we're feeding our kids is contributing to this. What we're giving them.
I've heard people say that, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All these processed foods and
sugars,
all the shit that they're throwing in them.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, so you're contributing to this, you know, stick to this diet or whatever. Half the time I was thinking, he's on the bend here. He just wants to for us to buy a book or something like that. But you know, when you genuinely sit down, you think about it, and you compare statistics from years ago to what it is now.
There's got to be something, hasn't there?
There's got to be some link somewhere. I speak to a really, really, really close friend of mine now who I'll get onto in a minute, Eddie. He said he's never seen it this bad. His son Colin, he had leukemia 30 years ago, and he said there wasn't that many cases of it. Now there's not enough nurses. Nurses are going abroad, working abroad, because they just cannot cope with, you know, they wouldn't have nurses doing 12-hour days if there wasn't the need for them to do them hours, because it's absolutely scary.
Is it hereditary, or what is the like now?
No, so it's something that we've looked into. Is it something that, you know, is in the family? Because my wife's a family member of my wife, their daughter had leukemia. I'm not sure how old she was, but she had leukemia, and that was the first thing that I thought, is it hereditary? And when we spoke to the doctors, they said no, it's just something every
one of those things, isn't it?
Well, every person has got this leukemia cell within them. It's just what triggers it to make it active. They all lie dormant,
and they don't know what triggers it.
They don't. It could be anything. It could be, you know, you could get a cold, and then your cells work the opposite way. That's what it is. That your cells are working against your own body.
Right.
So I remember when my mum got it, and that was a big thing to me. You know, if my mum was sick or something, but she was a bloody alcoholic or something, you could kind of blame it and say, well, it's your own fault. My biggest thing was why my mum? And the doctor said we don't know, and they said it's more common in children. So but in a way, for me, that made it even worse. I was thinking, well, my mum's not a child. It's even more unfair. And then I always remember them saying there's some sort of slim link if you live near a power plant. Well, that was another thing.
So that was something that my wife is a serial Googler. Yeah. Honestly,
which is dangerous because it can mess with your head, can't it? When you see all these forums and
well, the other day, for instance, she had a bit of a rash on her chest, and she put it into Google, and the next thing is, mate, she was looking for that clinic in Switzerland. And you just think, oh, come on, you know what I mean?
Not Dignitas.
Yeah, just stay away from all that. But yeah, it's, you know, when we were looking into like what, you know, sort of what it is, it's just unfortunate. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, when my wife was Googling about leukemia, and you know, sort of, you're always looking for answers why, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that was one of them. And our house that we had at the time was, you know, you could see a pylon in the distance, you know what I mean? And she was like, right, that's it, we're moving. I was like, what do you mean you're moving? She was like, I want out of this house. So between Charlie going in the hospital and coming home, we got a new house. I made sure.
Because of that, yeah?
Yeah, well,
wow.
Only because I was thinking, I was trying to eliminate anything.
Control what you can,
that I could control.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because obviously,
as you would, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, you know, as a parent, you know, a son in your case, or for your dad's sake, he's probably thinking, how can I help this? I'm at the mercy of these doctors here, so I'll do what I can do. And that's what I did. I made sure that we'd had a house for him to come back to, so we never had to go back to that house, which we did. So he was out of hospital for 6 months. He was in hospital for about 6 months in total the first time round. So I've made sure he'd had a new home to come to. That was nowhere near a pylon. I couldn't even see one.
No phone mast.
No phone mast. There was nothing. We all walked around with lead hats on. But yeah, it was. I just had to change or control what I could do for him, or how I could help him. So we goes to this house anyway, and it was going great. You know, he was on the mend. He was doing really well. And
what is the treatment then during that?
Yeah, so at the time he was on Regimen A, which is just a chemotherapy.
Right.
Obviously the obvious signs, he'd lost all his hair and it done some horrible things to him, as it does to every child. Every child's different in a way, but it has the same sort of maximum impact, killer leukemia as quickly as it can. And then, you know, we should sort of see how it goes. But, you know, he was doing really well. We came home. Then that was in the... We'd gone on anyway for a couple of years, and he was doing really well.
Was he in remission at this point?
He was in remission, yeah. So he'd had 2.5 years of treatment. And then they put you into remission. Then because of the type of leukemia, some children stay on a little bit longer. But with ALL being the most common type of leukemia in children, they pretty much had a regimen say, oh, this is what we're going to give him. And, you know, he'll be all right, you know what I mean? And we took so much hope from that. Like, you see this all the time, so you know what you're doing.
That's it. You just expect them to be the experts, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You do, because they've gone to university to study this disease, and they see it day in, day out. But again, you know, every child is different. They react differently. Well, every person's different. They react differently to certain things. But yes, it was going really well. He was in remission. I think he was like a week away. They've got like a bell in Alderey. You ring it.
I see all the photos.
Yeah, so you ring this bell, and it's got this thing that you read out, and that's sort of like the end of treatment. And we were about a month away. And I remember it. We were... I think we were planning like my birthday or something like that. It was like a party or something. And we'd gone into I'd gone into work, and my wife phoned me and she said, I've got to take Charlie up to the hospital. I was like, why? What's up? Straight away thinking, it's come back. I don't know why. I think it's always because you're on your heels then. And you probably always will be. You're probably always thinking in the back of your mind, well, is this gonna continue to rear its ugly head? Is it ever gonna go? Because you hear and read things about this disease. It just catches up with you, and it can keep hold of you. So straight away, I got on the phone, was like, let me FaceTime, let me see. And she said, no, just, I think he's had a stroke. What do you mean he's had a stroke? I said, he's 6 years old, how was he going to have a stroke? And she said, because we were in my mum's, they were playing in the garden, and something fell on him, and he was crying. And when he was crying, only one side of his face was moving, like sloping. I was like,
fucking hell, man.
Like, what do you mean? Like, and she went, go on, I'll FaceTime you. And I was like, you're okay, Charlie? He was like, yeah. And I went, do us a favour, smile for me, mate. I went, no, I was, like, give us a smile and all that. And then he just went to smile. But then one part was like, stayed normal, and the other part was raising. So you could tell straight away. I said, right, okay, I'll meet you at Alderey. Gets up there. They'd done a few tests because he was a previous oncologist, or Yeah, well, I'd say a previous oncology patient, because they were sort of seeing him less and less at this time. And they were doing tests for Bell's palsy. I think that's like a temporary sort of disability with the facial muscles, or just muscles in general. I think I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but I think it's something like that. So they were checking him for that. In the meantime, they took some blood. Blood came back fine, so they were like, okay, something's still not right. We need to check this here. We need to find out. So they said, stay in overnight, and we'll get you in tomorrow for another lumbar puncture. Between them, in the night, they took another lot of blood, from going from having nothing in his blood to checking it again 6 hours later. He was riddled, and they couldn't understand how it had gone from not being able to see anything down the microscope to can't see anything good in the microscope. It was just that. It was just me head was just about to explode. I thought the first time we were very lucky. This second time I thought, well, I might as well just say ta-ra to him now.
Is that what it felt like? Yeah, you just...
Yeah, oh, mate, massively, yeah. Massively, yeah.
As a parent now, just recently, my Alb's just turned 5. Like, I can't even... You can't even comprehend, like, what you must have fucking gone through there, mate.
Do you know what? People say, you're dead strong, what you've done. You've got no other choice. That your children look to you as their pillar, their sort of protector. That's what you put on the planet to do. You put on there to, create life, protect that life, and then for them to sort of, do the same as what you've done. That's obviously the way it works.
And life's hard enough, without having, that happen to it. Things with bills and mortgages and fucking everything, and then throw that into the mix under curveball. It's like, fucking hell. Yeah,
it's it was awful. And
were you yourself at work?
Or so I was working in Jaguar at the time,
and you were. Not saying happy as Larry at work, but like
you were getting your life back. Is what I was doing. We were rebuilding our life again after everything that had happened. We'd gone from being in the hospital every day, to me working 40 hours a week and thinking, when you're in work, you think, I can't wait to get out of this place. But then when you're out of it for for that reason more so, you're thinking, oh, please get me back to work.
Just want a bit of normality.
Bit of normality, yeah, exactly right. So it was the happiest I've been in such a long time, because, Charlie was through the sort of worst. He was looking great. He was feeling great with himself. Family life was brilliant. And it just seemed to... I remember my nan saying to me, that's just God testing you, that, honestly, you'll be fine. And past this, you'll be much better people for it and all the rest of it. She's not really a God botherer or anything like that, but I think when something bad happens, you look for anyone for some sort of... I don't know, comfort maybe, if you want to call it. I found myself in the chapel in Alderhay a few times. Like,
really, yeah.
Mate, yeah. I'd
You're not religious at all?
Not really. I'm Catholic. I was christened and all that, done my communion, but no, not really. No, I'm not. And I was just looking for some comfort, mate. I literally would have done anything. I'd have sold my soul to the devil. If he was real, to help him, to protect him. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I would have done anything.
And when they said this time round he's riddled, was that worse than the first time? So when he had it the first
No, not really. They just said, we can see a lot down the microscope. We didn't ask him or ask them, was it worse than last time? Have we caught it soon enough? And their answer was, it's there. We need to get rid of it. They didn't say, like, they couldn't tell how long it had been there, because the previous day, there was nothing they could see. Now, that might have been a spoiled sample, the first one.
Yeah.
Where it's, you know, and it can happen, and we'll never know. We'll never know. But the first thing that they suggested was a bone marrow transplant. That was straight off the bat. This regimen that we've tried you on hasn't worked, or it worked for a period. We need to get him in, have a bone marrow transplant. Again, didn't know what that meant. What are you going to take something from him and give him something? Like, I didn't know how it worked. I genuinely thought, like, your bone marrow was like all your bones. Yeah, I genuinely did. I thought, what are you going to swap his skeleton? I don't know how this works here. Do you know what I mean? And he said, no, so what it is that we do is we withdraw bone marrow from a healthy person, inject it into Charlie, or drip it in, and we'll flush Charlie's bad blood out and put his good bone marrow in.
Right.
And that's sort of the way it works. So during this search, we'd had this guy from Germany. They have this unbelievable charity, Anthony Nolan. Anthony Nolan was a kid back in, I think it was the 70s, who'd had leukemia, and his mum was searching for a cure for him, and he never ended up getting it. He ended up passing away. Again, you know, don't quote me on this, but I'm from what I can remember, he ended up passing away, but he needed a bone marrow transplant, and there wasn't a facility to be able to try and find donors for this. So
it wasn't like a register or nothing?
There wasn't a register, no. So his mum started the charity.
And that's one of those charities, what you're trying to get with Charlie's Chances. I've heard of Anthony Nolan. Yeah. Everyone's kind of heard of that. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people have anyway.
Yeah.
And I know that just comes back from what you said at the start. It means more to spread the word, because Anthony Nolan, I knew that as a bone marrow register.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is, like I said earlier on, that's what we're trying to push out there, is what we can do, how we can help. Now, you will never need us, and I genuinely, I hoped we don't get any referrals. I genuinely do. Not from a selfish point of view, from the point of view where I think, well, people don't need us, which is a good thing. You know. So yeah, that's the way we're trying to go and promote ourselves. So they said he needs a bone marrow transplant. So we had this kid from Germany. He was a 25-year-old fella, and he said, yeah, he'll do it. So we'd had it scheduled for the 22nd of December 2011. It was scheduled in. So I thought, 3 days before Christmas, lovely Christmas present. Then Anthony Nolan come back and said, I'm sorry, he's pulled out. I was like, oh, what do you mean he's pulled out? Fuck. How can he pull out?
Imagine pulling out of that.
How can you say? So I said, well, why is he pulled out? Now, we didn't know this guy. We're not allowed to. You're not allowed to know who they are. I think after 3 years, you can write to him.
Fucking hell, it's a good job you didn't know who he was, mate.
I know, I'd have dragged him there by his hood. But yeah, so we were like, oh, what are we meant to do now? And he said, we'll go out on the hunt again. So we were like, okay. Not really disheartened by it, because they said, you know, Charlie's in a good position now. He was responding nicely to the chemo, but they needed this as like a long-term fix. So we were like, okay. So the 22nd of December goes, gets like the 1st of January. Anthony Nolan phoned us on the 2nd. Oh, no, they never. The bone marrow nurse and all that, they phoned us and said, Anthony Nolan have been in touch. This guy from Germany's back on. He wants to do it.
After he
pulled out. Now, I'd said, well, what's changed his mind? And she said, he has his own family, and for him to have took time off work would have an impact on his own family. Now, I understand that. I completely understand that. But from a parent who needed the child to have this transplant, I thought,
Yeah, it's fucking hell, mate.
He probably had a.
Do you know what I mean?
Fall into. You might have had a Christmas party on the 23rd and just couldn't be out.
Yeah, mate.
Well,
well, it could be. It could have been anything like that.
Whatever the reason is, you'd like to think, mate, saving a young kid is pretty high in the priority.
Well, you'd think so.
I mean, who knows? I mean,
again, you don't.
No,
you're only. I'm only presuming
yeah.
something like that. But then he come back and said, anyway, he's got his own family, just started a new job. If he takes time off, he can't provide. Now I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Let's get someone else in. But then, as it happened, he came back on. So he'd had his bone marrow transplant on the 25th of January 2012, which was like brilliant. And then, bone marrow transplant. He had his radiotherapy over in Clatterbridge as like a pre-transplant protocol. So you'd have to have this radiotherapy, and it kills a lot of the leukemia, or tries to get you in a state where you're in the best possible health to give this bone marrow transplant a chance, because the way the bone marrow or the way the radiotherapy works is it completely kills all the cells in your body as well as the leukemia. So you're basically a blank canvas. We were going twice a day for 5 days, and then he had the bone marrow transplant on the, I think it was a Friday or a Saturday morning. And then this Auntie Nolan nurse came in with one of our nurses with this little bag, it was a cooler bag. That's what it was, cooler bag.
Yeah,
I thought, she's bringing a can in. We're gonna have a little bevy before this all happens. Just like I'll take the edge off. So she opens the lid of this thing, and straight down, it was about that big, a little 1 litre bag of blood. That's what it was, 1 litre of blood. But within that blood was his bone marrow. This life-saving gift that he was given to my son, you know what I mean? And they hooked him up and let it run in.
You must be thinking, bingo, done. That's
yeah, we did. We were never ever in any doubt from what the doctors and nurses were telling us that this wasn't gonna work, because of how well he responded to the first couple of years of the chemo and all the rest of it. They said there's no reason why it wouldn't. It would have to be something drastic that could make this that could ruin what we're trying to do for him. Now, I think his treatment all in all for this was about 3 months. He had to go into complete isolation once he'd had it. He couldn't see his brother. He wasn't allowed to see Harrison. There was a piece of glass and there was a phone. One on one side, one on the other side.
Gee, in Alder Hey?
In Alder Hey, yeah. So you had to go in. You go into this room.
That were you as well? You couldn't see them as well?
Yeah, we could go in, but we could only go in sort of intermittently. At first, it was one in, one out.
To stop viruses?
To stop infection.
With all the aprons on and everything as well?
Yeah, aprons, the lot, yeah. And obviously at this time, like the kids, so how old was Charlie then? I think he'd just turned 6. Harrison was 3. So they loved each other then. Not like they do now. They absolutely despise each other, I think, at most of the time. But at that time, they were like best mates. They loved each other and that. And Harrison couldn't understand why he was looking at Charlie through this piece of glass, couldn't see him and play with him, all this. And
that's heartbreaking in itself. You're forgetting as you're talking about all this terminology, and you're forgetting there's a little kid there. That's you're forgetting, aren't you? That's this is a small child who hasn't got a clue what's going on. It's
honestly, mate, the stuff that Charlie's been through, it makes me heart burst of how like proud I am of him, and from what he's gone through to the gorgeous little fella he is now. He's a small man at the minute. He's 14, and he just like every kid, you do your head in at times, but I just can't explain the love for him, the he's just I couldn't ask for him to be any better than what he is. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't wish for him to be any better. But like you said, you know, this was a kid who's gone through so much shite over the years, and you know, looking at his little brother through this piece of glass that he can't touch him or grab him or nothing, and the phone didn't even work. The phone didn't work, so we were like shouting, screaming. You couldn't hear nothing, so we'd end up writing notes and sticking them on the windows and all the rest of it. And it was just that at that point, them 3 months, that was the hardest that we'd ever sort of been through, I think, as a family.
Yeah.
Obviously, myself and my wife, we very rarely seen each other. We were like passing ships, which causes stress on us too, and our emotions are high anyway, looking at trying to look after one kid outside the hospital, one kid in the hospital.
It's hard enough fucking maintaining a relationship in just normal life. Never mind with fucking kids and everything else, mate.
It is. It's you know, everybody's got situations that test them and test relationships and everything else, but this was the ultimate.
That is one hell of a test. Yeah,
this was just, you know, it was tough. It was so tough. And I remember the day they said, "You can come in. You can come in tomorrow." I was like, "Who can come in?" It was Harrison. "You can come in tomorrow." If there was in the bone marrow ward, you'd have 2 rooms. You'd have like a main lobby area where you'd go in, take your shoes off, scrub up, apron on, and then you get in. So with there being 2 rooms, obviously if there was 2 people in there who were having bone marrow transplant or post bone marrow transplant, you couldn't really go in. But because there was only Charlie in there at the time, I think there was a little girl before us who'd left a little bit early. That was the reason sort of why they said, well, he's doing really well, let's counter up, let him come in for a bit. Do you know what I mean? So they let our Harrison in, and I've never seen a kid so excited to see his little brother. It was lovely to see. If I could have filmed it, I'd show them that now, saying, yeah, look, they used to like each other, do you know what I mean, at one point. But yeah, I remember it, and it was just, it's got to have been up there, one of the best things I've seen between 2 brothers, to see that like reconnection. Do you know what I mean? It was like sort of, I used to watch this thing, that Davina McCall thing, where they go, "Oh, you found your brother in Australia, he's been here for 40 years, long lost families." Yeah, it was sort of like that type of reunion. Jesus. And I thought, I love that, you know what I mean? Yeah. I hope we sort of keep that closeness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, it lasted for about half an hour before they were like fighting over something. Do you know what I mean? And it was, like I said, it was unbelievable. And then over a period of the next couple of months, he'd got moved to an isolation room that was outside of that type of complete isolation environment. He'd had his own room, which we never really had. It was going well. And then he got moved on back onto the ward, and that was it. We were sort of like, that's it now. There's no way on earth this can ever happen again. Again, you know, come back out and back again to our normal life, you know. Back in the house that we've moved from the first time round, with the pylon in the distance. Obviously, because I was saying to my wife, "Well, look, it's come back again. I've moved him away from that situation. It's obviously not that." So she was like, "All right, okay, well, let's move back then." So we moved back into our house that we were renting out at the time. Moved back in there, and everything was going great, and it did for nearly 4 years. No, we were 4 years. He was in remission, back in school. I was back in work, and over the years of you know, all this treatment and the neglect within mine and my wife's relationship, it took its toll. And we both decided to take a break. Because we'd lost that whole, like, we'd concentrated so much on the boys and making sure they were okay. We neglected each other.
Yeah. So sad that.
Yeah, and you know what? It's another impact of what this disease can do as a after effect, maybe, or I don't.
You seen that, didn't you? With it was the documentary on last year, that Little Boy Blue about Rhys Jones, and I think
exactly.
his mum and dad ended up splitting up. I'm not sure whether they're back together now or whatever, but it just shows you the impact on your children when you go through something. It just must take everything out.
You become so focused on protecting that little thing that you've got, or whatever else, and everything else around you comes second best. And it does. It's a natural thing for it to happen. Of course, it is. And we never went out. We never had time to ourselves because we always had Charlie. We were always with Harrison or working, and it got to a point where we were at both at breaking points. So, we took a break. I had my own place. Sophie stayed in our home with the boys, and I used to have the kids, obviously very often. And bear in mind, this was like 4 years later, so we was 11, 10, maybe 10, yeah, about 10. And over the road from where I had my place, there was like a park on Field Lane in Litherland it was. And I took him over the field and we were just playing footy. Goes back in, he's like that, holding his leg. What's up with your leg? I was like, I don't know, just doesn't feel right. I was like, okay, no problem. Didn't think anything of it. Like, bear in mind, he hadn't seen an oncologist for the best part of 2.5 years. Every time...
There's got to be a point as well where you can't always think. Every time he says, oh, you're thinking, oh, is it back?
Yeah.
You'd go mad, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course you would. And it's sort of... You do, obviously, when something like that happens and it can come back at any time because of the type of disease it is, you always think... There's always that little doubt, you know what I mean, in the back of your head. But you sort of put that to bed. You think, I'll leave that. We'll revisit that if it comes back again. So a few days go by, speak to him. Legs okay, yeah. It's like, yeah, brilliant, yeah. No problem. So then that little doubt in your mind, that's in bed. That's being put to bed. And then I can remember again. It was another Friday. We were over the field playing footy. And he kicked the ball, and the scream out of him was just, it was awful. Absolutely, I've never heard anything like it. And he hit the deck, and I ran over, and I just grabbed him, just picked him up, and he was going, me leg, like screaming, me leg. I was like, is this the same leg? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, right, okay, let's get you up there, let's get you up to the Aussie. And he goes up, done his blood fine. Must just be growing pains in his leg because he's reaching that puberty stage. It might be growing pains. Sent us home, and then he'd started getting sick a little bit. Little cold, staying for a week, 2 weeks. They got to 3 weeks, and we were like, I've seen this pattern. I've seen it. Noticed bruising. I knew straight away. And you know what? It absolutely fucking kills me because I remember straight away. I thought that was it. Thought. And for the first time, I distanced myself from him, protecting myself. Oh, mate, awful.
Fucking hell.
Awful.
It's how fucking like you. I can't even fucking imagine. It's like just that whole thing of why me again, why my family, why my little boy. Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, it was, and it's something that, again, you know, protecting your kids and all the rest of it, but you've still got to have that little bit of protection for yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, how do I deal with this? Because I've got to be at my best to make him okay with everything that's about to happen. So anyway, goes to Alderey. Done his blood, obviously his previous history. So they threw him in a room. On a ward it was. And it was by this time, Alderey had moved to this new hospital. So we get in this ward and said, we're going to get him in the morning. Emergency bone marrow test. Not a transplant, emergency bone lumbar puncture. Excuse me. So we went in, and I remember that the nurse, she'd been with us from the start. Michelle, her name is, lovely nurse, one of the ones that we could count on, and would be straight with us and say, listen, you know, it's going to be tough or whatever. There was a couple of them really. Kelly was another lovely one. And she'd said, is Soph about? I said, no, she's in work. Is everything alright? And she said, phone her, just give her a ring. We hadn't known at this. I'd had an idea that I'd seen this pattern. And she said, just give her a bell. So I phoned Sophie, she was in work at the time, and I said, listen, the hospital, they want us. So she was like, okay, yeah. So she came from work, and they sat us in again. Well, it was a little bit more pleasant this time. It was just like a normal room, and they'd said, listen, we've done his bloods are looking okay, but we have seen something. But this time it was in the spinal fluid, which is why the second time he'd had that sort of stroke,
yeah,
because your spinal fluid runs around your brain and everywhere else. It's like a membrane protecting the body from toxins getting in. Chemotherapy is a toxin. So over all these years from having his bone marrow transplant, right the way through, these leukemia cells had developed this sort of I don't really know how to explain it, but they hid in a spinal fluid, and when all this chemo was going past, they were like, we're in here. Do you know what I mean? We're behind this door here, you know, like it. And that's what had happened. So from him having that little mini stroke,
so they become immune to it, isn't it?
They become immune to it over a period of time. You know, like anything, you know, you keep throwing penicillin or paracetamol down your neck over a period of time, that effect it once had, it's not there no more. And yeah, like I said, you know, I thought of, I sort of cut myself off. I thought, right, okay, we'll deal with it, but I'm not trying to emotionally attach myself to it. I'm going to try and protect myself at the same time as making sure he's okay. And you know what, even today I still think, you fucking selfish bastard, you know, why would you do that? Why would you do that at that point when your son needs you the most? And again, you know, a few people have said it's probably a natural thing for people to go through. You have to think about your state of mind, you know, because like I said, you know, I need to be at my best to make sure that he's looked after properly.
And he's 11 years old, and you've been through all the X amount of years.
I don't think anyone could say anything to you, mate. I mean, fucking what the hand you've been dealt in life, mate. However you fucking dealt with it, mate, I'm sure you've done what you fucking have to do, mate. Do you know what I
mean? We've had to, you know, we've had no choice. It's just one of them things, you know. You dealt a hand, you deal with it how you know best. You know, you just Just got to crack on with it and just, you know, hopefully rely on these people who seem to know what they're talking about. Do it. And I'd said to the nurses, so, you know, what are we doing now? Like, what do we turn to? What's our, you know, drug of choice? And he said, I don't know. Like, the truth is, we genuinely do not know. We could give him a little bit of chemo. We don't know how it's going to work.
Is this because he's had the bone marrow?
Because he's had the bone marrow transplant. And
that's normally the last
That's normally like last chance saloon. If you go past that, there's not really much that we can sort of give you that'll help you. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they'll probably give you chemo until they can, you know, which was an option. They'd said, you know, we can give him lifelong chemo if that's what you want. What type of lifestyle for your kid? You know, who'd want that? Do you know what I mean? He's 10, nearly 11, thriving. Why would you want to put him back to, you know?
My dad says that about my mum. He says, obviously my mum ends up passing away, but he says that if they'd known now what the leukemia was going to do to her, he would have just said no.
You wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't have done it, mate. And I'm the same, man. You know, I've thought to myself, why would you let someone give your kid that drug that's doing this to him? Like the pain and the absolute turmoil I've seen this kid go through because of this drug that they give him, this chemo, is just, you think, why have you done that to him? Do you know what I mean? But like I said, you know, you rely on these people to know what they're doing. They've studied it. It's, you know, hundreds of years of science. This, you know, give it a go. They know best, not you. So I'd said, okay, so what's the script? What do we do? And he said, there's a new trial. It's happening in Great Ormond Street. It's called a CAR T-cell therapy. Again, knew nothing about it. Didn't even know what CAR T-cell was. And we'd asked, and basically this new trial is you've got these T-cells within your body, and they re-engineer them. They take them out your body, re-engineer them to be like super cells, put them back in your body, and they fight it.
Jesus.
That's the way. That's how advanced this science has got now. They can take your own cells, turn them into these little juice head cells that fly around your body and clear everything out. That's pretty much how I was explaining it to people. You know, that's what they were doing. They were making these little puny things, you know, big and strong, and I'll throw it through you, and then, you know,
because I've heard chemo's a really old treatment that's been going since like the 70s, and so it hasn't really evolved that much. I don't know if that's right or not. But
I mean, again, I'm no expert, but from what I've seen, this chemo does absolutely awful things to these kids.
Well, how I've been explained it's the chemo kills everything in your body, and the hope is it kills the leukemia first.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
and so the hope is you've got a little bit left of you that can
sort of rejuvenate your body and create these good. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It completely starts you from scratch, or at least
chemo
tries
doesn't know
to,
if it's killing you
or the disease.
Hence why your hair falls out and other side effects.
Your whole immune system is on its arse. You literally everything. Nails come off, hair goes. Literally everything. It strips you. You know, back to nothing.
Yeah, my dad had it, and he said he could taste like zinc, you know, like
like a metally taste.
Like
that's exactly what Charlie used to always say. I can't get this taste out of my mouth, and that's what it was. It's just not nice, but it seems to be necessary.
This trial, so how? I'm guessing there wasn't as much information out there. It was just the kind of.
It was new. Yeah, it was new. It's new across the world at that time. It had never been done, from what I believe, in the UK at that time. It had never been done. So we would have to have gone to Great Ormond Street for this treatment. But before that, we had to be presented at this board of MDs who were
See if you're the right candidate.
Looking for candidates, yeah. Exactly right, yeah. Looking for candidates.
I guess from their side, if they're going to test this new thing, they need the perfect kind of candidate, don't they?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And they're not looking at it, I'm guessing, from a... Like, they're not seeing the pain and the years of hurt, and they just want... We've got this new drug, we need to see if it works on the best possible person.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So they had... From what I believe, they had 10 patients that were up for this trial. Patients 1 to 10, the medical history, and Charlie wasn't selected. There was a patient there, and do you know what? I would never ever be upset about the decision, because I know the way things work. I know the way it has to work, because obviously this has happened for years and years and years. We have to find a remedy or a cure, but in order to do that, you need the funding. You need the perfect candidate. To be honest, they're not going to put in front of this drug a kid who's had cancer twice. They're going to think he's going to blow our funding. That's exactly what it is.
Is this like a pharmaceutical company? Who is this board?
This board will be doctors from Alderhay, Great Ormond Street, Newcastle, Birmingham,
right?
Who've got these kids who are up for this trial,
right? I'm with you.
Basically,
not against these though, and I'm sure but surely they're gonna pick the kid who they're hoping who's best. Try not to be like too damning of any of these people who might have been through, but like they want it to work, don't they? Obviously. Yeah. So they're not going to really pick a kid like Charlie who's maybe had it 2 or 3 times when there's a kid who's had it once and is maybe quite new and
yeah.
I don't know if that's
that's right. That's right, and that's the way.
Which is shit, but you can kind of understand it
exactly. And this is what I've said. I remember on when we were fundraising and stuff. I remember speaking to Mick Coyle about it, and he said that must have really pissed you off though. Like, well, listen, the only way I can describe it is, listen, you know, you've got you throw 2 kids in a pool, one of them's yours, one's someone else's. You've only got 1 ring. What are you gonna do? Throw it around your own, save him, and just let the other one drown? You're not gonna. You're gonna find or try and find a way to save the pair of them. Now, that's pretty much how I seen it. So I've got to sort of not sacrifice my own kid to save another kid, but we've got to find another way to save the both of them. Now, we know this trial is being successful in another country, so why not give it the chance to be successful here? And I've never ever felt one little bit of resentment against them people for thinking my kid was worse off than theirs or your kid's better than mine. It's just they were in a better position to be able to let this trial advance, and rightly so. I would never ever feel any sort of hatred or upset or anger towards them people, because I know the way it works, and that just meant that we've got to now find something else, or, you know, hopefully this works really well. Charlie's got the time to be on the next one. I mean, again, we didn't know how long it took, you know, what situation they were going to be in. If, you know, 2 weeks into this trial, is he going to be then able to get on it again? Like it's a course, you know, one course finishes, you know, get another candidate, you jump on. I didn't really know too much about it, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. We'd found out on the Friday. They went down to Great Ormond Street Friday morning, and myself and my wife, we were going out for something to eat with the kids. One of our rare moments out. But sorry, bear in mind, I'm saying there with you know, me and my wife. So during all this, me and my wife sort of
brought us back together. Yeah. Like,
and I mean, obviously we've been sort of talking and going through, you know, putting a bit of time aside for each other and whatever else. So, you know, when this happened, it was sort of like, right, we need each other now. We need each other as well as Harrison. You know, he was what, 8, still 7 at this time, and so we needed each other. So we ended up going out anyway for something to eat, And in the car on the way there, our consultant at the time, Helen Campbell, she phoned us and she said, listen, I'm just on the train on the way back from Great Ormond Street, and I'm sorry, but you never pictures. I said, so what do we do? And she said, you need to go to America. You need to. They're doing it there. I've got people I can speak to. And I said, so what do you mean then? But like, what? And she said, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So I was like, oh God. So I was thinking,
what bank do I rob first?
Exactly. I was thinking, that post office looks all right there. We've got 10 minutes here before we go for this food. But straight away, you're thinking, what do I do? Like, I've got a kid who's dying, and I've got to get him hundreds of thousands of pounds, because we know everything in America is expensive. So we were like, okay. So we go to this meal. I text a couple of my mates saying, like,
had you been told at this point how much you need to raise?
No. We weren't told how much we had to raise, but we also knew that a girl who had leukemia at the same time as Charlie had been accepted to go to this treatment centre in America, which is why our consultant said, you need to get over there.
Yeah.
So we'd asked what sort of figure we're looking at, and she said, I don't know, is the truth. I genuinely don't know. But you just need to start getting out there with money. And I phoned me mate, text a few of the other lads and that. And a good friend of yours, Andy McRobbo, text him and my other good mate, Coley. And I said, you know, this is what we need. They've denied us this trial in Great Ormond Street. We need to go to America. Literally, by the time we'd had our scan, so from 5:30 till 7, we'd had about $6,000.
Jesus.
I didn't even know. I genuinely didn't even know they'd set up a page.
This is the kind of the amazing bit, and this is where I started to find out about the story. Mate, this just gives me goosebumps thinking about people coming together. This is just,
and it's our city, and you know you could see that.
I remember this going on, mate. It was mad.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Was it when was this then? When was this?
This was in April 2016,
and it just snowballed.
It was massive.
Mate, it was everywhere, wasn't it?
Massive. Now, it's something I've always written me mate Mick about. He's a pest. He's a little celebrity stalker, right? He will pet Robbo. He honestly, he loves. He's got so much interest in other people's lives. It's bizarre, but it's helped us. Do you know what I mean? It's helped us. And after me telling him and Coley about it, by the time we finished our meal, they'd set up this Just Giving page, or GoFundMe, I think it was at the time. And yeah, we'd finished this meal, and my other mate texted me and was going, hey, what's this page thing? Like, I've seen Charlie's picture. And I was like, what do you mean, what page? So he sent me the link and I logged on. It was like $6,000. So I was like, wow, what's going on here? So I phoned Coley. He said, hey, is that you? And he was like, yeah, well, we wanted to help. We obviously knew that you needed the money to get over there, and this is what we're gonna do. I spoke to him before we come in, and I was telling him how much I'm indebted to him. Do you know, we've got the ball coming up, and you know all the rest of it, and saying like I could never thank you enough for what you have done. And literally, this was like half an hour before I was coming in, and he said, well, you know, we've been mates for long enough now to know that you do the same for me if I needed you, and Robbo and you know all the rest of it. So yeah, it just blew up. It went from having $6,000, and then it was like $15,000, and it just kept going and going and going.
The amazing thing is, mate, I've tried to raise money for the past and stuff, but normally it's like, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But even straight away, there was no challenge that anyone set, was that? It was just, let's just fucking get money together. It was
just let's see what we can get,
get money.
And get him to America. So my first phone call was to our consultant to say, put me in touch with this other family. I need to know what figure we're looking at, because the time difference from us and the treatment centre in America It's like 6.5 hours. So I was thinking, I'm catching these here at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I need to find out, I need to know. So they said, yeah, well, we'll put you in touch with this other family who've spoke to these consultants in America, and they can give you a rough idea of what you're expecting. So we speak to them, and they said, it'll be around 180 grand.
Jesus.
I'm thinking, I've only got 16. What am I meant to do here?
That's a fucking lot of money.
It's
that
a
one.
lot of still a black then. A lot of money. But it's a lot of money. And I'd spoke to a few other people and said, listen, we need to get out in our droves here because we're looking at massive amounts of money. Something that I've never seen, never heard of. I mean, again, you sort of become a bit naive to know that people are actually doing this all the time to get the kids away.
Yeah.
But again,
you know what, mate? Really stupid example. I'm nowhere near comparing Charlie to an animal, but I remember me mate. His dog was fucking sick, and he never had pet insurance, and it was like, this is gonna cost you fucking $5,000 or something. And it's like, listen, I love my dog more than anything. But when it was an animal, I was like, man, that's a fucking lot of money that for like an operation for a dog. But he was still fucking paying it, do you know what I mean? And you think like, oh, and that's for a dog. Yeah. So like, imagine what it's like when it's your fucking son, even though the amount's fucking, loads more.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine it. It's fucking blows your mind.
Mad.
To
it's
think
mad,
that's
honestly.
Such a crazy amount of money that you think, how could I ever do it? But on the other hand, you're thinking, it's my son.
Yeah.
I will.
I've got it. It's happening. There was no doubt in our mind that we weren't gonna do everything that we could to try and get that money. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was times where I thought we're not gonna get it, but there was not a single moment in the day where I thought I'm not gonna try as hard as I can to get it.
Did you ever feel wound up the fact of that 180 grand? And I imagine it's a private company in America.
It's not.
Is it not?
No, it's not. It's just Seattle Children's Hospital. It's their local hospital, but the question I was going to ask was, imagine if that was private organisation, obviously of that 180 grand, some of that would have been profit, and there's having a moral compass of like, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, but it's not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well,
you could go mad though thinking about that.
You could. It's like you go and buy a jacket and you think, well, they've got some poor kids in China. They're making my jacket here for 20 quid, and I'm paying 6-7 ton for it. Yeah, you could start breaking it down that way. Do you know what I mean? If you wanted to really get into it, there is profit to be made, which is
it's the way of the world, though.
It's the way the world is, and I think, to be honest, I think that's the reason why they still haven't found this cure for leukemia or cancer. There's a cure there.
It's gotta be.
There's a cure there, mate. I know there is, but it's $1 billion business. Billions and billions of dollars every year. Why would they want to find it? Put so many people out of work. But when we were trying to raise all this money, I was looking for stuff like that. I was thinking, I'm sure I seen some woman take a kid to Austria and stick him in a chamber for 18 hours a day. It was like pure oxygen or something like that. I remember seeing it on the news. I think she actually got done for taking a kid out the country because she wants to go to this clinic, and the kid was fine. And I was thinking, could I take him there? How much would that cost? Pure oxygen. We're breathing it every day. Let's just. I mean, where is the one in Bootle, or is there somewhere I can take him? Do you know what I mean? So it'll be fresh oxygen somewhere. But you don't just look for anything.
Yeah, you're just thinking of anything, aren't you?
You think for anything, yeah. So yeah, we were in train stations. We were.
How long did it take to
28 days in total.
28 days?
28 days in total.
Off, I think it was that quick.
Yeah, 28 days, yeah.
To raise 180 grand?
187,000. Yeah.
In 28
days. Yeah. It was just, honestly,
What's that a day?
A little under, like what, $7,000 a day?
Fuck me, hang on.
Yeah, it's got to be close. I haven't really done the math on it, like.
187?
Yeah.
$7,000, 7, 8, 9 to...
Sorry, 187.
8
Divide by 30. £6,233 a day.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you do then? Why did you divide it by 30?
Yeah, it's 28 days.
28.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
You're doing me out of 500 quid there.
6,600.
Yeah, 6,600, yeah. So it was just, and that was just people.
Hey, that's £278 an hour.
Yeah,
like that.
Big money, innit? Big money.
Shows when people just all...
Fuck me, man.
Yeah.
But
that's
mad.
That's just... But again, I've said this for the last couple of years now. That's what the people of Liverpool do. When they see one of their own down, they will do whatever they can to help them. And I've said this for since we started. If we were to be in, or we were fortunate to live in Liverpool, if we would be anywhere else, we probably wouldn't have got it. We probably would not have got it.
Yeah, that's when again. This is when I kind of heard about it, and I'm lucky enough, kind of got to know you all a bit more. And it was amazing to see. It was in the paper every day. It was all over Facebook, all over Twitter, and every day you like it was donating, and then the next day it was like, I think my sister would come in and go, "Have you heard about that kid from Bootle? He's trying to raise money." And I was like, "Oh, you had a sponsor? They've just got up to 20 grand." And then Hannah went, "No, it's on like 40."
Yeah.
I was like, that was like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
It's on 40 now.
Yeah.
It was just going up like
Crazy,
that, wasn't it?
Mate. It was just, it got to a point where it was like we were just shy of 100 grand, and we were like, this is just unbelievable, this. Like, is it going to continue? Is there going to... And I was thinking, where does it stop? Like, do we have to say, right, that's our target now? We had to keep adjusting it, because what we didn't want people to do is go, oh, well, they're nearly at the target there. Let's let someone else donate. So I think we'd adjusted the target over a period of days to reflect the figure that we needed, and we left it at I think it was 180,000. The target was it finished at the end. So we went up slowly, and then it started to slow down. Like the last 2 weeks, it's like first 2 weeks we were up to about 105 grand, and then it slowed down. Then it started to slow down a little bit more, and I was thinking, have we literally sucked the life out of Liverpool now? Have they gone, this story, like, why it depresses me? Do you know what I mean? Why do I'll leave that, I'll skip that, scroll past it or whatever. And then Steven Gerrard come in. Simple.
Is that who it was? I knew there was a rumour about who it was.
No, so there was. I
remember a big thing at the end, but I'd never ever knew who it was.
Yeah, so Charlie had met Stephen a while ago. But the second time round, he used to live next to my wife's friend in Formby. So we were round at Abbey's, and Charlie was in his Liverpool kit and all the rest of it, and he lived next door. And we'd arranged to meet. Now, Steven Gerrard's PA at the time was mine and my wife's wedding planner. So she'd followed my wife and myself on Facebook, and she'd seen what was going on, and she got in touch with my wife and said, do you want me to get Steven to pop his head in and say hello and all the rest of it? So Charlie had met him, dead shy. My bird went to bits, because he was... No,
I'd go to fucking bits, to be fair, mate.
He is a bit of a fella, like, innit? But yeah, so he'd known about Charlie anyway, and obviously when he'd seen the story in the paper, and I think we'd done like an appeal, because it had slowed down a little bit, saying like, you know, we're still not at the target, can you help, and you know, whatever else. And Anna got in touch, and she said, listen, you know, Stephen wants to help. I don't know in what capacity, but he's going to do something. So we were like, okay, yeah, no problem. And then she said, I can't, but you can't say nothing. Do you know what I mean? Because as you can imagine, these high profile people, I mean, everything's, the way things are these days is, you know, they get pestered for shirts and they're pestered for everything. You know,
you know what, mate? Because I had this about a very like super wealthy friend in like the hundreds of millions. I went to a charity event with them as a guest, and I'm the knobhead, even though I'm fucking skint. That'll bid on fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? I'm that knobhead, right? And I was at this charity event with her, and she wasn't bidding on anything. I remember thinking, you fucking minge bag, like you've got 100 million in the bank there, start putting your fucking hand up. I'm in my fucking overdraft and I've just bid 700 quid. You know, I'm like that. And you realise that these give a lot It's fucking loads of things.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And they give a fucking lot of money. And you can imagine, like, someone like him, he probably gives loads anyway.
Yeah, but
he doesn't say anything about it.
He doesn't say, he doesn't need to say anything.
Yeah, but he's got his own foundation, hasn't he? He's got the SGA Foundation who help families and all the rest of it. So it's like, he doesn't need to. What he does now, as at the time a player of Liverpool, you know, he does enough. But at the time he was in, I think he'd been at LA Galaxy for about 6 months. I think he just sort of got over there, yeah. And Aaron had reached out and said he's gonna help you, and within a week, something like that, the money started like trickling in. And she said, you can't say nothing. He's gonna make a donation today. I was like, okay. I was waiting, thinking, like, what is it? Jumps up 25 grand, and I was like, wow. To be honest, to be honest,
what a fucking fella.
Yeah,
as if you couldn't love him anymore.
As if, exactly, mate. Exactly, as if you couldn't love him anymore, mate. And then he goes and does that, and I'm like, wow,
what a fucking
like
man. But you know how good that would have felt for him. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you know what though, like, when we've met him a couple of times since, like, and he doesn't do it for that. He doesn't do it for people to think, what a lovely fella. He's done it because he cares, mate.
He wants to, yeah.
He does it because he cares.
That's what I mean. The feeling he will have got, he won't have been happy by everyone thinking, wow, what a guy. He himself will be happy to think, I've done something, I've been able to help.
Yeah, yeah. And
wow, that's amazing.
Me wife is just an emotional wreck. We were nearly there. Do you know what I mean? I think at that time we were up to about 138,000, and then we were like, I think we'd set our target then at 150, because it changed. It was like 100 and it was 100. It wasn't £180,000. It was $187,000. So it got us to like 138,000. Then a few more donations went in, like 141, 142, and then another anonymous donation, 10 grand. Took us over the 150, and we were like, done it, smashed it. Like, who is this person?
You still don't know who that is? You're not gonna say.
I don't know. No, we've got an idea. We've got an idea of who it was, and it wasn't anyone famous.
Really, yeah.
Wasn't
someone
anyone
wealthy.
Wasn't anyone famous, yeah. Just
it was me, you know.
Just 10 grand overdraft, yeah. But yeah, you know, we were just that, you know, ecstatic to get this money. So we'd phoned our consultant, said, we've got it. And he was like, you've got what? We said, we've got the money. He was like, you joking? Like, it's 28 days. We've got the money. Just get on to Seattle. Let them know. We'll be there Monday. She said, no, it doesn't work like that. So we were like, okay, well, what do we do? And she said, I'll send a few emails and they'll get in touch with you. So we were like, okay.
I love how the fact that this isn't even being set in stone. You've just been like, what? Need 180 sounds.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
See it in a minute. Yeah, but that was always going to be the case. It was never going to be like
waiting for that. Oh yeah, how much? Let us know when.
Yeah. It was just going to be, we'll be back. See you in a minute. And that was just sort of the way it was. And we got in touch with Seattle through our consultant, and they'd got our email, said we're going to send you all the details, what you need to do. And I'd woke up, so this I think at the time it was like Tuesday or a Wednesday of earlier in the week, and on the Saturday morning, my wife had opened an email off Seattle, and she was like, it's an email off Seattle, you've got all the details. She's scrolling through, she clicks on the bottom, like an attachment, an invoice, £500,000. I was like, you fucking joking? We've literally just been raising all this dough because this other family have given us a figure of £187,000 or $187,000. Where's this £500,000 come from? My bird was crying, thinking, that's it, fucked it, we're not going to be able to do it. So I was like, right, just, you know, calm down.
Stevie,
calm down, we'll figure something out, do you know what I mean? And she was like, what are we going to do here? So I'd got in touch with Seattle, and they basically just told us that this other family who were going over there had been the beneficiary of a pot of money that was available for overseas patients. So they have like it's pretty much what we're having in a couple of weeks, a black tie ball, but like a big, you know, on a grander scale with all these multi-million billionaires or whatever. And they donate all this money. So they basically got the last of what was there. So they benefited from about 300 grand.
Jesus.
Something like that. Yeah. So we were like, that's not fair, is it really? You know what I mean? You knew that both of us were coming, but because they were the first ones, they got it. Like, how's that fair? Like, why can you charge one family from one hospital or two different families from the same hospital, vastly different amounts? So we got in touch with this charity.
I guess this is planting the seeds already for what Charlie's chance went on to go and be.
Well, when we were raising this money, we'd seen other families raising money, losing homes, whatever has contributed to their life from their child having cancer. You know, it's that much. Like I said, you know, we've been through family. You do anything, and the last thing you do is worrying about paying bills or whatever, all you're interested in as your kid. So we were like, okay, well, we need to do something here. So we needed to reach out to anyone who could help, and there's a charity called Solving Kids Cancer. They have a couple of offices. They have, I think there's one in London, and I think they have a friend in New York, or like a little small office who deals with like overseas patients. I think Solving Kids Cancer is more down to helping families with neuroblastoma, because a lot of them children, they go to America for treatment. So they sort of have like a liaison office or a, you know, a person who they speak to. So we got in touch with this woman, and she said, I'll deal with Seattle on your behalf if that's okay. So I was like, yeah, no problem. It was on the Monday. On the Tuesday she came back and she said, yeah, done. You're paying, they're gonna honour it.
It's not what you know to, you know, eh?
That's it, mate, yeah. And literally from thinking, how are we gonna get this extra 300 odd grand? You know, we were there.
I think though, mate, that's it. Obviously I don't know anything about the situation, but surely, mate, people have got to see your tenacity and your determination and just thought, like, these aren't messing about. In a month they've raised nearly fucking 200 grand. You know, that's a...
Yeah, well, that's what we'd said was on the Monday after we'd got this money and said, well, how are we meant to get that? I said, well, yeah, let me give you this 150 odd grand we've got, then I'll get you the rest. Just get him there, start him. You know what I mean? I know you charge by the day for the room that he's going to be staying in and per milliliter of what you're giving him. Just get him there, and then we'll deal with the rest. You've seen what we can do. We'll do it. It's no problem. But you're going to have to give us a bit of time. So that was our first sort of reaction. Like, that's what we're going to do. Let us do it. They wouldn't, obviously. But then this Solving Kids Cancer got involved and said, yeah, we've dealt with them. We've spoke to them. And that's what you're doing. You're going. So we got our date. And then we went on the 24th of July, 2016. And then...
has it been more plain sailing from then?
No.
No.
Jesus. No, of course not. No. it went well. The harvest at the time. So when we get to Seattle, so that's where we went. We flew to Seattle and didn't know where we were, what area we were staying in. Got on Airbnb, got an apartment, $3,500 a month for an apartment in Seattle. Honestly, scandalous. Fortune 500 companies have gone there now. Amazon, all them. You know, they're all there now.
It's like
Microsoft.
San Francisco, but on the
yeah. So everything's gone through the roof. So we get there anyway. 2 days in, we're like, what are all these busies doing around here? Pop my head out. They had them rods in the house, looking for the trajectory of bullet holes. So I was like, what's going on here? Like, what are they doing? Where we'd moved, or the neighbourhood we'd moved into, there was a massive, like, opioid addiction area in University District.
And it was still $3,500 a month.
And it was still $3,500 a month. Honestly, some of the houses when we went over to the other side of it, once we'd finished there, they were like $10,000 a month. We thought $3,500 we were going to end up in Formby. Do you know what I mean? In a kind of like that, we get there, mate. No, we're in the top floor of some apartment. And bear in mind, all their houses over there, they're all made of wood. Do you know what I mean? And I just said to the girl, listen, we're out of here, we're not staying in here. I'm coming to try and get my kid better, not try and be part of this sort of drive-by drug gangland shooting thing. You know what I mean?
1-star review on Airbnb.
Imagine, So that was like 2 days of us being there, and we thought, oh God, is this what's to come? But it actually wasn't. It ended up being plain sailing for the best part of 8 weeks. We'd sort of, in a weird way, we treated it as like a little bit of time that we've never had together, away from our day-to-day lives and families, and it was lovely to just spend that little bit of time together in between the treatment. So Charlie had gone in for his harvest, which is where they take all the cells from him and then send them off. So they send them off for 30 days. It takes this process of re-engineering these cells and then getting them back into you. So we had a little bit of a break, a little bit of time to, a little bit of the calm before the storm. Obviously it was a new trial. No one knew what was going to happen. Only sort of, like everything really, when he used to go for his lumbar puncture, they'd say, these are the risks. It could happen, it couldn't. The chances of them happening, slim to none, but we've got to advise you of them anyway. So we're like, okay, yeah. They told us about the risks associated with this treatment, and there was one called CRS, which is cytokine release syndrome. Didn't have a clue. Didn't know what it was. So Charlie goes back in for his them putting the cells back in, and he said, we'll know if they're working because you'll start getting a temperature after a certain amount of certain amount of days and all the rest of it. Nothing. Get nothing. It's fine, like 5-6 days. And then he said, it can take anything up to 7 days. I was like, okay. On the 7th day, literally, they were all stood there waiting, thinking, anytime now, shut down. He was just gone from running around the field, having barbecues on the lake, to literally, like, no control of himself. So, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. He was 100 and odd degrees. He was literally, you could fry an egg on him. He was that hot. Honestly, he actually got in bed with us, and it was a temperature that woke my wife up. She was like, and she took his temperature, and she said, that's it starting, get him in. So we get him in, and within 5 hours he was on he was in intensive care for 2 weeks. Within 10 hours of him being there, didn't have a clue who we were. He was shutting down. He was dying. And he was saying he's having the worst CRS that we've seen in a patient on this trial. And we were like, there was this girl who we'd gone over with, was in 2 rooms down. She was having exactly the same thing, and I was like, well, it can't be the worst because she's having it. So what's happened here? Like, what are you doing? And yeah, he'd gone from being petrified of me. I'd go over to try and hug him, and he'd cower because he'd just seen this man figure with whom he didn't recognise. Me standing over him, crying, trying to hug him and kiss him and try and reassure him. Didn't want to know, didn't want to touch me. Was scared shitless. Didn't. It was absolutely awful. And I remember speaking to me mate Mick, and I was crying, and I was saying, like, I've brought him here to help him, and I'm killing him. I've brought him to die. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh shit. I hate talking about it because it proper, like, it upsets me to the point where I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to make people feel like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to make people depressed about it.
It's your life, man. It's
I know. And this is why I want to help. This is why, because I've seen this. I've felt it. I've you know, the whole fucking cliche of being there, seeing it, got the t-shirt. We have, and he was dying, and I spoke to my mum. My mum had flew over with my sister. My brother lives in Vancouver. Seattle's only 2 hours away. So before he'd went in for his harvest, we flew up. Well, we didn't fly, we drove up in the car. Had a few days there. My mum flew home from Vancouver. She was home a day. Phoned her, said, listen, you need to come pick Harrison up and take him home, because we're not coming home. We're not bringing Charlie home. She was like, what do you mean you're not bringing him home? I said, Mum, he's dying. His body's shutting down. He's got no recollection of who we are. And my mum's there the next day. Flew her out. She was there. She took Harrison out the hospital. And I remember, like, speaking to our Harrison. He had his iPad, like, in front of his face. I was like, hey, you okay? And he was like, pulled his iPad. He was just crying. He was seeing, like, what this was doing to his brother. It was, honestly, it was awful. And that was the time when we said to me mum, get him out, get him gone. He needs to, like, he can't see this anymore. He's seeing, didn't see it when he was first diagnosed, seeing him through a piece of glass, second time, third time.
He's living it now.
He's seeing it properly. I'm spitting everywhere. He's seeing it properly. He's seeing what's happening to him. And yeah, that was that in over the whole time to that date, we've seen him. That's the worst. That's like the point where I thought, no, the shit is really hit the fan now. That's it now. You're done. Like, you've had your 2 goals the first time round, first and second time round. This is you now, mate. Unfortunately, you know what I mean. And that was so hard. Like, speaking to my wife about it, and yeah, it was just.
You're not really meant to go through that as a parent, are you? You bury your parents.
Yeah.
You know, you're not meant to bury your kids.
Yeah. It was just. Yeah, it was awful. It was fucking awful. And this was like this for 2 weeks.
Fucking hell.
2 weeks, yeah. It was just like, didn't know what to do. We were there with him every day, every minute of every day. Didn't see our other son, Harrison, apart from slipping out for a shower, giving him a cuddle. My mum bring him up, take him home. or back to the apartment that we had. And then this one day, my mum said, well, I'll take H back. I'll take him back with us. So I was like, okay, yeah. Bring him in. You know, let Charlie see him. You know, we'll let him see Charlie before he goes.
As in back to Liverpool?
As in back to Liverpool, yeah. My mum was going to fly him home, but take him back with her. She brings our Harrison in within 5 minutes. We were looking at Charlie. By this time, he hadn't recognised us, but he was familiar with us being there every day. He was a little less wary every day. Didn't talk. Was like every now and then. It sounds like proper weird, but he'd arch his back and like grab his willy for a wee. So he knew what he was doing. He'd have some sort of idea of that he needed to go to the toilet. Couldn't speak or nothing like that. It sent him back neurologically, but he knew he needed to go to the toilet and all the rest of it. But again, he'd do everything on his own. He was so self-sufficient through all of this, or as much as he could be. But my mum brings our Harrison in within 5 minutes. Charlie goes, Harrison, fasten your laces. And I'm like, so I'm sat here next to you saying, Charlie, I'm your dad, I'm like cuddling you and that. And then the first word you say is, fasten your laces, shouting at him already. I was like, bang this button in. The nurse comes in and said, he's just told him off. He's just said to him, fasten his laces, he's talking. And she was like, it might have just been like a reaction to seeing. He might have recognised him. And I said, I'm telling you, it's like... And then within 3 days, he was like, knew who we were. And I was like...
Amazing, that.
I was saying, I remember speaking to me mate and saying, you know, when your kids are going, dad, and then you go, oh, shut up, just leave me alone, you know, it's a little pest.
Yeah.
I was praying for that.
Yeah.
I was praying for him to go, Dad, in the whole time. He didn't know who I was, he just thought it was this stranger trying to take him to the toilet and all the rest of it. I was praying for that. And then I'm there going, I'm your dad. You know, like when you go to work and you've got a baby and the mum's going, say mama, like that, you know what I mean? I was praying, going, say dad. And he comes in, starts telling him off for having his laces undone. I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice here, mate. That's nice. And then it just went from strength to strength. He was out of intensive care, back onto a ward. And then he was out like, so from Harrison going home on that day to a week later, he was out, up, running, playing, talking, knowing everything. It was just mad how drastically it changed from that to being so like compass mentis, being the Charlie we knew before we took him away. This healthy, happy, loving kid who just wants to play and be with his brother. And
how long were you in the States for then in total?
12 weeks in total, all in all. It was 12 weeks, yeah. Yeah, we couldn't. They wouldn't let us fly home until they were absolutely sure that he was in the best possible condition to fly home. So it was sort of like they had to have him at a certain point. But what we didn't know is this treatment coincided with coming back to the UK to have a bone marrow transplant. That was sort of like part and parcel of it. So we get home thinking that we're going to be coming home. He's going to be going in for conditioning in Clatterbridge, the radiotherapy, and then having a bone marrow transplant. And he said, he can't have one. I was like, what do you mean he can't have one? He's already had one. It's one per child. It's like, nah, you're messing, aren't you? It's not like, it's not the way it works. And he said, it's exactly the way it works. Can't have one. Can't have one. I said, but the other kid's got one. That's her first one. So she's having it. So you've had this treatment in America. Needing for this to work, you need that bone marrow transplant. And yeah, they wouldn't give us it.
Who's this, the NHS?
The NHS, Anthony Nolan. Well, to be honest, it wasn't Anthony Nolan. I'm doing them a bit of disservice there. They would do it for everyone 4, 5, 6 times if they had to. But the NHS protocol at that time was 1 per patient. Yeah, so we were like, oh, okay. You know, he's in remission at that time. See what happens. This might be another trial within itself. Do they need that bone marrow transplant? You know what I mean? Bear in mind, the bone marrow transplant conditioning strips you of all them cells. So what you've just had put in you is going to be getting... It's like counteract, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? You put all these good cells back in to kill all the leukemia, for then this bone marrow transplant to kill all them good cells to rejuvenate you again. It just seemed a little bit of a backward step. So that's what happened. He went 6 months in remission, and then he relapsed again for the 4th time. I was like, is this a joke? Like, is this because he didn't have that bone marrow transplant? Is this the reason why this other child was thriving?
Really?
Flying. Yeah, doing great. Doing unbelievable. Back to square one. What do we do now? In between Charlie being told he couldn't have this second bone marrow transplant, the law changed. In between him relapsing, it changed. So they give them this second bone marrow transplant, and then they offered us that. Unfortunately, the new hospital had the transplant facilities in Alderey, but they didn't have the team to do it, so we had to go to Manchester at the time. I mean, in between that and the bone, in between coming back from Seattle and the bone marrow transplant, we were actually due to go back to Seattle for a top up, if you want to call it that. But they just couldn't get him to the level that they needed him to be at, because to get over to Seattle you have to sort of be in fairly good condition, but they couldn't get Charlie to that, couldn't get him to that condition where he was safe enough to fly, but also in
bad enough to still need it
to still need the additional cells, because they still hold the cells for a year, I think it was, that they took out. So yeah, we ended up having another bone marrow transplant, which again, you know, had its ups and downs. More ups than downs, really. It went quite well. You know, we should have been in isolation for 12 weeks. We were in for 6. And then yeah, we were out after 8 weeks, and that was in May 2017. That was. So we've been home from Seattle about 6 months.
Mate, not that I'm praying. You know what I'm praying for now? You to be like, and it's been alright since then.
No. No. So,
do you know what I mean? No, I didn't mean that in a horrible way.
No, of course, because you're
hearing this and you're thinking, give this fucking
give him a break. Give him a break. Yeah. So he had the bone marrow transplant in May, 25th of May. Then he came out sort of the end of June, early July. Then he was going back then for monthly lumbar punctures, and then they check his levels. And they checked and said all them cells that he had in Seattle have gone. They've all gone. All these good cells that were still lingering around during his bone marrow transplant, they've gone. So he's got none of them good cells left. So we're like, okay. So he was in remission for 6 months, and in the October we went back for a lumbar puncture, and he said his levels have jumped up a little bit there, his leukemia levels have jumped up. So I was like, okay, is that normal? And he said, yeah, it can happen. Them little rogue ones can pop up every now and then, but we'll let these cells have a good go. Give them a little bit more time. Then in November we went back and it was down. None. It's like, okay, it must have been a false one. Then in December we went back. They were up. In January we went back. They were up again. And they said, come back. Come back. So after the second bone marrow.
So it's now like start of 2018.
So this is the start of 2018 now. It's come back. But at really low levels. So they were thinking, is it a false reading? Because they do these tests called MRD, minimal residual disease. They basically do it to the 10,000. So how many cells in 10,000 are leukemia cells? So it's really sensitive, these testing. But they're still there.
Mm.
And at any time, they can grab a mate and go, come on, let's work around this fella. And that's the way it's been ever since. Some months they're down, some months they're up.
So even now, this is a continuous
thing, yeah. So we had his last one, so we're still waiting on a test from last month. We're actually in next week, the 20th of November.
That's where I've been, and I'm guessing a lot of people can think like this. Is you think, oh, that Charlie went to America, he's had the treatment, he's fucking. I've not heard much. He must be cool.
Right,
It's up and down, and what they've said is. And every nurse that you speak to who knows Charlie have always said he's a case in himself. We've never had a kid that has been like this in all the years they've been nursing.
Got a career in motivational speaking.
It's
resilience in him, mate. It's determination.
It's mad. But it's like now to look at him, you wouldn't think anything different because he's not on chemo. So what's happening now is they do his lumbar puncture. He's on like 3-4 medications a day, every day, which prevents certain things like coughs, colds, because it's them little things that can trigger this little fella to ramp up and really take hold of him. So he's on all these different medications and stuff. So 1 month his level's up, next month it's down. So you're always sort of, again, you're on your heels, but you're ready, you know what I mean? You've sort of got one eye on it, thinking something's going to happen, but it's like they've always said to us, well, do you want us to lead off you now? You've done this for God knows how many years, let's lead off you. You'll know him better than we do now. You'll know when he's having a shit day and when he's having a good day. You tell us. And that's the way it's sort of been. Like we've got to a situation now is if he's having a little bit of a rundown day, we'll keep an eye on him. If the next day's the same, we'll take him straight in. They'll give him a little bit of something, check his levels. If his levels are alright, they send him home. I think what we've got in our heads now, he's going to be a permanent oncology patient. And I think they're of the same mind. That's the way it's going to be because of how up and down he is, how sensitive he is. That just seems to be.
In a way, though, mate, where you've said that, you know, you're best to kind of treat him. That's why you and Sophie are probably in the best position possible with the charity side of things as well.
Yeah, it
is.
You
know, you've lived it, you've known it, you've known the financial cost, the financial implication. Even little things like if you're raising money and helping contribute to a kid going to America, you fucking know where to best to stay.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you know, we've got an idea of certain you know, avenues to go down. So with the charity, you know, obviously what we do is we help fund treatment going to America. So not only do we help you financially, we try and take a little bit of that paperwork off you as well, because there's all sorts of paperwork that goes into it. You know, Airbnb, finding a car,
Don't stay in University City.
Don't stay in University City, or
know, whatever you do,
unless you're happy to live in that sort of environment. But yeah, so it's, you know, little things like child-friendly restaurants. You know, your kid's got no appetite. You know, Charlie lived off dry pasta for the best part of 12 months. And you know, that's one of the worst things you could probably put on your taste buds. That dry pasta's horrible, isn't it? But just little things that we've experienced. You know, perfect example, we had a family a while ago, again, became good friends of ours, and, you know, my wife went over there with an English hairdryer, Now, she might as well have had me behind her blowing on her head, because the voltage, the difference is vast, you know what I mean? It's crap. So we went and bought a hairdryer while we were there. And so when these families are going to America, my wife will say, take me hairdryer.
Yeah.
You'll need it. You know what I mean? And just little things like that. It's like...
So when people are raising money, mate, this ball you've got on next week, and people raise money, you'll then, if people contact you and say we need help, you'll help. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so what we've done now more so is because what we've seen over the last couple of years, these trials and treatments are progressing that quickly that they're actually doing them here in England now. So in Manchester, they're doing what Charlie got in America. You know, it's very, very rare these days. I wouldn't say very rare, but it's rarer than what it was 3 or 4 years ago that these kids are having to go abroad.
Oh, that's good.
Which is good. It is good.
Shit for what you have to go through.
Well, mate, honestly,
you know what, though, mate, in no way is this anywhere near as bad as yours, mate. But I had a similar situation in the sense of when I got blown up, I lost the ability to have kids there and then. And I was one of the first. A couple of lads had been blown up and lost one ball, and I'd lost 2. I think I was the first British soldier. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I think I was the first one. So it was a little bit like Charlie in the sense, and it's kind of like, well, we don't know here. We don't know what's happened. And by me going through that, they now do a thing where when lads get blown up, if they've lost both the balls, they take a
bit of semen.
They take a bit of semen from you, shove a bloody tube down your cock and get a bit of sperm, freeze it for you while you're in your coma. Now, the guy who, when I was first done, he kind of said, look, he said, Andy, I'm sorry that we didn't do that for you, but knowing that, you know, take some comfort in the fact that because it did happen to you, there are lads out there now who have got that frozen sperm, and listen, I don't care now. I've got Albert, and she's mine, and it's fine. But it did give me a little bit of comfort, thinking, all right, yeah, it didn't work for me because I was the first one, but actually, there's lads out there now who are, and I know it was awful for Charlie, but mate, that's what you've got to got to take from it.
That's one of the biggest things. You know, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be. I'd never wanted to be in this situation. Never ever wanted to. Never didn't ask for it. Just happened. It happened. But we're making the most of it.
You've got to though, man, haven't you? Like fucking.
Yeah, we're in a position to be able to advise and help, and basically repay the city, the families. Mate, we'd be very selfish not to. Well, when I say very selfish, no,
you'd be well within your right to go. There'd be people, mate, who've been through what you've been through and said, and could quite happily, and everyone, no one could say a bad thing about them. If anyone turned around and said, you know what, we've been through the mill.
We want our time.
Thanks for all your support, but I'm fucking taking a step back, and I don't want anything to do with charity, fundraising, help. I need to, and that's fine. Yeah, that is fine. Yeah. The fact what you used to do though is just fucking amazing. I've been to I think most of the nights you've done. It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah. It's
and what you're providing a great night people in the city who are there. Yeah. It's always a good night. It's and the money that you've raised since, mate, it's incredible.
Yeah, well, you know, previous to having to raise for Charlie, we used to raise money for Anthony Nolan from Charlie's first transplant, and we actually used to be called Barrow for Marrow. Basically just a load of divvies pushing each other in a wheelbarrow. That was what we did. It was just a gimmick that we had, and it worked well. And over the years we've built these relationships with people the likes of Andy and Darren Farley, and we, you know, there's a few others, Roy Evans, Jimmy Traore, who's in Seattle. You know, wasn't the greatest footballer, but a lovely person. You know, and
fucking Champions League, man.
Champions League, fairly has to be fair. But yeah, you know, he's a lovely guy who still stays in contact and you know, tries to help as and when he can, and that's the reason why I was saying that we'd be selfish not to sort of do something with it for the contacts we've built, the people we've helped. It's a wasted opportunity, you know. The relationships we've built over these last couple of years have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, and again, people in the city know that at any point they can come to us and ask us for help, and you know, we'd help in a heartbeat. And you know, it's not just the financial treatment aspect that we help with; it's the financial hardship also. You know, you hear all these people saying, you know, we're going to food banks and all that. The reality is, there's families out there now who have come to us for help who aren't far off that. And you shouldn't be worried about going to a sports hall in some little town to try and grab a little bag of food because you can't afford it because you're in the hospital with your kids. So
that's it. People that are getting in debt, stays off work, and then you don't even
exactly. And the original focus of our charity when we started it was for treatment cost abroad. But then I remember someone shoving an envelope of £100 through my door 10 years ago because they knew I was skint. They seen the fella come and take my car off the driveway. You know what I mean? And knowing we were in the shit, not just financially, but as a family, I thought there's not going to be that many of these families who want to need treatment abroad, cost-wise. There's going to be families going abroad for other treatments that's paid for by the NHS. But they're still going to need money to live because your bills don't stop here when you're there. Yeah. You double them up, pretty much, you know what I mean? So I said, you know, we need to focus on that. It's great that you've
acknowledged that, mate, as well.
Yeah, well, again, mate, you know, we've been the recipients of such generosity within the city, within the, could you call it an oncology community, probably. You know, we've seen devastation that this disease has caused, and all we're trying to do is just trying to make things easier and better for the kids and the families. That's all we're doing. That's all we're trying to do. You know, we're all full-time workers. Everything that we do is voluntary. We do it around our jobs, around our own kids, around our you know, our own lives and responsibilities. Everything we do is 100%.
Robbo and Coley, so along with yourself and Sophie, it's an amazing team that you've got.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's
amazing.
Good.
Obviously, a lot of people listen to this when they're driving. And especially on a Monday morning, obviously.
It's a humbling one for everyone.
It on a really Monday is, morning. Yeah, mate. It's
you're driving to work now, thinking I've got a shit day. Fucking, it's not that bad now. Is it?
It gives you perspective. Fucking hell, too, right? You know,
no, as if Mondays aren't bad enough. Sorry for you listening to this, but
mate, that's the quickest 2 hours and 10 minutes that.
But on that one, and just as it's finishing, if anyone wants to get in touch, can maybe think of any way they can help, whether that is financially or spreading the word or anything like that, then obviously just get in touch. Yeah,
just get in touch through the social medias, and obviously we, as a charity, there's that many families who are suffering. We haven't got a net big enough to cast over everybody, so we have to follow a referral process. So if you know anybody who may be able to benefit from us in any way, whether that be financial hardship, treatment abroad, or whatever, even emotional support, get in touch. We can help you. I can't come and find you. That's
you have to reach out to you guys.
You've got to sort of reach out, and don't be ashamed to reach out either. Sometimes, for the sake of your kids, you've got to swallow that humble pie. You know, just reach out. We're always here to help 24/7. You know, we offer our phone numbers as a support, you know, of someone who's been through this. So, you know,
as a parent as well, Rob, mate, what you've been through, mate, it's incredible. And just praying and hoping everything can be straightforward in the future, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
And thanks for being so honest and open up as well, mate. That was fucking...
No,
I'm sitting there with a big fucking lump in my throat that time. So it takes a lot for you, mate, to do that, and it's very much appreciated, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you.